Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the New Horizon, watching the stars through the main screen. The ship was 3 months into its mission to explore the Kepler 442 system. Everything had been quiet so far. Too quiet. "Captain, I'm picking up something strange," said Amy Walsh from her seat at the communications station. Her fingers danced across the controls as she tried to get a clearer signal. "Multiple ships, sir. Big ones." Lisa Barnes looked up from her tactical station. "I count 13 vessels, Captain. They're moving in formation. Military formation." She paused, studying her readings. "Sir, these ships are huge. Each one is at least twice our size." Tony Rivera wiped his hands on a dirty cloth and walked onto the bridge from the engine room. "What's all the excitement about?" he asked. "We've got company," Morrison said, "and they don't look friendly." The main screen changed to show the approaching fleet. The ships were dark and angular, covered in weapons. They moved with purpose, like hunters closing in on prey. "They're hailing us," Amy said. "Audio only." "Put it through," Morrison ordered. Voice filled the bridge. It was deep and harsh, speaking in broken English. "Unknown vessel. You are in Zephyrian space. You will surrender now or be destroyed. This is your only warning." Morrison looked at his crew. Lisa was studying the alien. Ships on her screen. Tony was checking his engine readings. Amy was trying to pick up more communications. "This is Captain Jake Morrison of the human exploration ship New Horizon," he replied. "We mean no harm. We're on a peaceful mission to explore this system. We weren't aware it was claimed territory." The alien voice laughed. It was not a pleasant sound. "Humans. Another weak species that thinks words will save them. You have 1 minute to power down your weapons and prepare for boarding." "We don't have any weapons," Morrison said. "This is a science ship. Lies. All ships have weapons." "You will surrender or watch your ship burn." Lisa turned to Morrison. "Captain, they're moving into attack formation. Whatever they're planning, it's going to happen soon." Morrison thought fast. The alien ships were bigger and clearly built for war. His ship was designed for exploration, not fighting. But something about the aliens bothered him. They seemed too confident, too sure of themselves. "Amy, can you pick up any of their internal communications?" he asked. "Working on it, sir." Amy's hands flew over her controls. "Got something. They're speaking their own language, but the computer is translating. They're calling us another primitive species and talking about easy conquest number 18. 18? Tony asked. "They've done this 17 times before?" "Looks like it," Amy said. "They have a whole procedure. Demand surrender, show force, board the ship, take prisoners." Morrison frowned. What kind of force do they usually show? Before Amy could answer, the space around the New Horizon lit up with energy beams. The aliens were firing at nearby asteroids, turning them into glowing dust. The display of power was impressive and terrifying. "That's what kind," Lisa said. "Captain, those weapons could cut through our hull like paper." "But they didn't fire at us," Morrison noted. "They're trying to scare us." The alien voice came back. "You see our power, humans. Your ship cannot survive our weapons. Surrender now, and some of you may live as slaves." Morrison stood up. This was the moment that would decide everything. He could surrender and hope for mercy. He could try to run and probably get his crew killed. Or he could try something else. "Lisa, how many ships did you say they have?" 13, sir. 12 cruisers and 1 big command ship." "And they all move together?" "Yes, sir. Perfect formation." Morrison smiled. It wasn't a happy smile. "Amy, open a channel." "Channel open, Captain. This is Captain Morrison. You want to surrender. I have a different offer. You have one chance to leave this system peacefully. We have no desire for conflict. The bridge was silent. Even his own crew stared at him. The alien fleet was massive compared to their single ship. The alien voice returned, and this time it was laughing. You threaten us? One small ship against our mighty fleet? You are either very brave or very stupid. Other alien voices could be heard in the background, also laughing. Morrison could hear Amy translating their words quietly. Easy victory. Primitive fools. This will be over quickly. The main alien voice continued. We have conquered 17 species with our fleet. Each one said the same words you just spoke. Each one thought they could resist. Each one was wrong. So I ask you the question we ask all our prey before we destroy them. Why don't you flee? Morrison looked at his crew. Lisa was watching him carefully. Tony had moved to his engineering station. Amy had her hands ready over her controls. They were waiting for his answer. Morrison had served in Earth's space fleet for 20 years. He had studied military history since he was young. He knew about every great battle, every clever strategy, every time the underdog had won against impossible odds. And he knew something the aliens didn't. He pressed the communication button and spoke calmly. Why would I chase you twice? The alien laughter stopped. There was silence on the channel. What did you say? The alien voice asked. You heard me, Morrison replied. Why would I chase you twice? Lisa was looking at him with confusion. Tony was scratching his head. Amy was trying not to smile. The alien voice came back, angry now. Your words make no sense, human. You speak in riddles because you are afraid. Open your eyes, Morrison said. Look around you. Really look. Then ask yourself why a single human ship would dare to threaten 13 alien warships. There was a long pause. Morrison could imagine the aliens checking their sensors, looking for hidden ships or weapons they might have missed. We see nothing. The alien said finally, You are alone and weak. Am I? Morrison asked. Or are you seeing exactly what I want you to see? Another pause. Longer this time. You are bluffing, the alien said, but he sounded less certain. Morrison leaned back in his captain's chair. In 30 seconds, you're going to start shooting at us. And in 30 minutes, you're going to understand what I meant about chasing. You twice. The choice is yours. The communication ended. The bridge was quiet except for the hum of the ship's engines. Lisa turned to Morrison. Captain, what's the plan? Morrison stood up and straightened his uniform. We're going to teach them. Something new. What's that? Tony asked. Morrison looked at the alien fleet on the screen. 13 massive warships against one exploration vessel. It should have been hopeless. We're going to teach them that humans don't fight the way everyone else fights. The alien ships began to move forward, their weapons powering up. The real battle was about to begin. The alien fleet moved into attack formation like a pack of wolves surrounding a lone deer. War Commander Vexthul watched from his command ship as his 12 cruisers spread out in the pattern that had brought victory 17 times before. Sub-Commander Kylter, report, Vexthul ordered. All ships in position, War Commander. The human vessel appears to be powering up their engines, but they show no weapon signatures. Of course they don't, Vexthul said with satisfaction. They are a weak species, like all the others. Begin the standard attack pattern. Meanwhile, aboard the New Horizon, Captain Morrison was anything but panicked. Lisa, initiate protocol. Sigma. Lisa Barnes smiled. Finally, something she had trained for her entire career. Protocol Sigma confirmed, Captain. All crew to battle stations. The ship's alert system began to sound, but it was different from a normal battle alert. This was a special signal that every human crew member recognized from their training. Tony. Rivera was already moving toward his engineering station. "Captain, you want me to start the modifications now?" "Do it," Morrison said. "Amy, begin Phase 1 communications." Amy Walsh nodded and began typing rapidly. She wasn't trying to talk to the aliens anymore. She was sending signals to something else entirely. "Lisa, explain it to them," Morrison said. Lisa stood up and faced the rest of the bridge crew. Everyone listened carefully. "These aliens fight like our ancestors did 300 years ago. They believe in honor, direct attacks, and superior firepower. They've won 17 battles using the same strategy every time." She pulled up a display showing the alien formation. "Look at this. Perfect military formation. They'll hit us with everything they have, try to disable our engines and weapons, then board us. It's textbook ancient warfare. So how do we beat them?" asked Lieutenant Pete Collins from the navigation station. "We don't beat them," Lisa said. "We make them beat themselves." The first alien attack came exactly as Lisa had predicted. Energy beams lanced through space, aimed at the New Horizons engine section. But the human ship was already moving, not in a straight line like the aliens expected, but in a complex pattern that seemed random. "Evasive pattern Delta 7, Morrison ordered Doc to the aliens. It looked like panic. The human ship was spinning and diving, apparently trying to avoid the incoming fire. Some shots hit, causing visible damage to the hull. War Commander Vexthul was pleased. "Excellent. The prey is wounded and frightened. Continue the attack." But on the New Horizons bridge, everything was going according to plan. "Hull damage is superficial," Tony reported. "The armor plating we installed last month is holding." "Good," Morrison said. "Amy, how are the communications going?" "Perfect, Captain. I've made contact with 17 mining drones, 4 automated relay stations, and the main navigation beacon. They're all responding to the emergency protocols." Lisa was watching her tactical display with satisfaction. "Captain, they're following us exactly where we want them to go." The New Horizon continued its seemingly panicked flight through the asteroid belt. The alien ships pursued, firing constantly. To any observer, it looked like a typical hunt, predators chasing fleeing prey. But Morrison knew better. Every turn, every desperate-looking maneuver was planned. They weren't running away. They were leading the aliens deeper into a trap. "Tony, how are those modifications coming?" Morrison asked. "Almost done, Captain. The sensor packages are ready to deploy. The communication boosters are online. And the special surprise you requested is installed." "What special surprise?" Pete asked. Tony grinned. "Let's just say the captain has been reading some very old books about warfare." Sub-Commander Kylter was starting to feel uneasy. "War Commander, there's something strange about their flight pattern." "What do you mean?" Vexthul asked. "They're not flying randomly. Look at the path they're taking us on. They're leading us through the most dangerous parts of the asteroid field, but they seem to know exactly where they're going." Vexthul studied the tactical display. The human ship was indeed taking them on a winding course through dense asteroid clusters and around dangerous radiation fields. "Perhaps they know this system well. But War Commander, our intelligence, said this was their first visit to this system." Vexthul frowned. That was true. The humans claimed to be explorers, not colonists. How could they know the system so well? "Keep firing," he ordered. "A lucky shot will end this quickly." The chase continued for 2 hours. The alien ships were getting spread out as they navigated the asteroid field. Their perfect formation was breaking apart. On the New Horizon, Lisa was tracking every alien ship. "Captain, they're exactly where we need them. Scattered, frustrated, and focused entirely on us." "Amy, are all the civilian stations clear?" Morrison asked. "Yes, sir." Every mining operation, research station, and transport ship in the system has been warned away. We're the only non-automated vessels in the danger zone. Danger zone? Pete asked. Morrison smiled. That's what we call the area where we're about to turn this from a chase into a lesson. The New Horizons suddenly changed course, heading for open space away from the asteroids. The aliens immediately followed, sensing that their prey was finally making a mistake. They're moving into open space, Kylta reported. No cover, no obstacles. We can finish them easily now. But Vexthal was beginning to understand that nothing about this chase had been normal. Sub-Commander ran a full sensor sweep. Look for anything unusual. The results came back quickly. War Commander, there are energy signatures throughout the system. Faint ones, but they're everywhere. What kind of energy signatures? Unknown. They're too weak to be weapons, but there are hundreds of them. Vexthal felt a chill run through his body. In 17 previous conquests, no prey species had ever led them on such a complex chase. Most either surrendered immediately or fought directly and died quickly. War Commander, Kylter said quietly, what if the human wasn't bluffing? Before Vexthal could answer, the human ship stopped running. In the middle of empty space, with no cover and no apparent escape route, the New Horizon turned to face its pursuers. Morrison opened a communication channel to the alien fleet. War Commander Vexthal, I believe that was your name. You asked me why I don't flee. Would you like to know the answer? Vexthal was so surprised he almost forgot to respond. How do you know my name? Your communications aren't as secure as you think, Morrison replied. But that's not important. What's important is what happens next. You are surrounded and outnumbered, Vexthal said. Surrender now, and I promise you a quick death. Morrison laughed, and the sound made Kylter's skin crawl. You still don't understand, do you? You're not surrounding me. I'm surrounding you. Impossible, Vexthal snapped. We see no other ships. That's because you're looking for ships, Morrison. Said, I told you humans don't fight the way everyone else fights. We don't need more ships. On the New Horizons bridge, Lisa was counting down. 30 seconds to Phase 2, Captain. Tony was ready at his engineering station. All modifications are complete and ready. Amy had her hands poised over her controls. All systems are responding and ready for coordination. Morrison looked at his crew. They had trained for this moment, studied for it, prepared for it. Now it was time to show the galaxy something new. You asked why I don't flee, Morrison said. To the aliens, the answer is simple. When you're the hunter, you don't run from the prey. Vexthal was confused. What are you talking about? We are the hunters. Are you? Morrison asked. Then tell me, War Commander. If you're the hunter, why did you follow me exactly where I wanted you to go? The alien commander felt his confidence beginning to crack. You were running in panic. Was I? Morrison pressed the button to begin Phase 2. Or was I hurting you? Throughout the star system, hundreds of automated devices came to life at once. The space around the alien fleet suddenly came alive. What had seemed empty moments before now revealed itself to be full of human technology. Mining drones emerged from asteroid shadows. Communication relays that had been silent began broadcasting. Automated platforms that had been drifting like space junk suddenly powered up. War-Commander Vexthal stared at his tactical display in disbelief. Where did all of this come from? Sub-Commander Kylter was frantically checking his sensors. War Commander, these devices were here the entire time. We just didn't see them as threats. Because they're not threats, Morrison's voice came over the communication channel. There's something much more dangerous than weapons. They're a network. On the New Horizons bridge, Amy Walsh was coordinating with systems throughout the entire star system. Her screens showed hundreds of connections: mining drones, navigation beacons, communication relays, automated refineries, and emergency broadcast stations. "All systems responding, Captain," Amy reported. "We have full network control." Lisa Barnes was studying the alien positions on her tactical display. "Perfect. They're exactly where we need them." Tony Rivera was monitoring the power systems. "Captain, all modifications are stable. We're ready for the demonstration." Morrison stood up and walked to the center of the bridge. "Gentlemen, ladies, you're about to witness something that's never been done before. We're going to turn an entire star system into a weapon." The first demonstration was simple but effective. Amy sent commands to a dozen mining drones that were scattered around the alien fleet. These drones were designed to move asteroids for processing. Using magnetic fields and small charges. Suddenly, asteroids throughout the area began moving in impossible directions. Rocks that should have been drifting in straight lines started curving around the alien ships. Space debris began forming patterns that made no sense according to normal physics. "What's happening?" Vexthil demanded. "The asteroids are moving," Kylter reported. "But there's no force acting on them that we can detect." That wasn't entirely true. The mining drones were using their magnetic manipulators to guide the asteroids. But the drones themselves were too small and numerous for the alien sensors to track effectively. Morrison opened the communication channel again. "You're used to fighting other ships, War Commander. But you're not fighting a ship. You're fighting a system." The second demonstration was more dramatic. Amy activated the automated mining charges that were scattered throughout the asteroid belt. These weren't weapons. They were industrial tools used to break up asteroids for mining. But in Amy's hands, they became something else entirely. Explosions began blooming throughout the space around the alien fleet. Not random explosions, but carefully timed and positioned ones that created shock waves, electromagnetic pulses, and debris clouds exactly where the humans wanted them. The alien ships found themselves flying through a maze of obstacles that hadn't existed moments before. Their perfect formation was broken as captains tried to avoid collisions with debris that seemed to be moving with purpose. "Evasive maneuvers," Vexthil ordered. "All ships maintain formation." But maintaining formation was impossible. Every time the alien ships tried to regroup, new obstacles appeared in their path. Debris fields formed and reformed. Electromagnetic interference made their sensors unreliable. Gravitational anomalies from the controlled explosions pulled their ships off course. Lisa was coordinating the entire battle from her tactical station. "Tony, I need more power to the communication array." "You got it," Tony replied, rerouting power from non-essential systems. "Amy, can you get me 3 more mining drones in Sector 7? "Already moving them into position," Amy said without looking up from her controls. Morrison watched the alien fleet struggling with their new environment. "You see, War Commander, you made a fundamental mistake. You assumed that because we only had one ship, we only had one ship's worth of resources." The aliens were beginning to panic. Their ships were designed for direct combat, not for navigating through constantly changing obstacle courses. Their weapons were powerful, but useless against targets they couldn't predict or even see clearly. Sub-Commander Kylter was studying the tactical situation. "War Commander, I think I understand what they're doing." "Explain?" "They're not using their ship as a weapon. They're using it as a command center." All of these automated systems were already in the system. Mining equipment, navigation aids, communication relays. But now they're all working together under human control. Vexthil was beginning to understand the scope of what was happening. "You mean they've turned the entire star system into a single coordinated weapon?" "Not a weapon," Kylter corrected. "Something worse. They've turned it into an intelligent environment that actively works against us. The third demonstration proved Kylter's scifistories. Amy began coordinating with the system's navigation beacons, devices designed to help ships find their way safely through the asteroid belt. But instead of helping, the beacons began broadcasting false information. The alien ships suddenly found their navigation systems telling them that safe passages were blocked and dangerous areas were clear. Their autopilots began making course corrections based on false data. Their formation fell apart as each ship received different navigation information. "Our navigation systems have been compromised," one of the alien captains reported. "We can't trust our instruments." Morrison's voice came over the communication channel again. "This is what humans call asymmetric warfare, War Commander. We don't fight your strengths. We make your strengths irrelevant." The alien fleet was now scattered across a wide area, each ship dealing with its own local hazards. Some were trapped in debris fields that kept reforming around them. Others were struggling with sensor interference that made accurate targeting impossible. All of them were discovering that their superior firepower meant nothing when they couldn't find clear targets. "War Commander," Kylter said quietly, "we need to withdraw." "Withdraw?" Vexthal was outraged. "We have never withdrawn from battle. We've never faced anything like this before," Kylter replied. "Look at our situation. We can't maintain formation. We can't coordinate our attacks. We can't even navigate safely. They've turned the battlefield itself against us." Morrison could hear the alien communications through Amy's intercepts. The confidence was gone from their voices. They were confused, frustrated, and beginning to realize that they were in serious trouble. "Let me make you an offer, War Commander," Morrison said. "You can leave this system now, and we'll let you go peacefully. Or you can stay and learn more about human warfare. You think you've won?" Vexthal replied, though his voice lacked its earlier confidence. "I think you're asking the wrong question," Morrison said. "The question isn't whether I've won. The question is whether you understand what's happening to you." A new set of explosions bloomed around the alien fleet, this time creating electromagnetic pulses that interfered with their communication systems. For several minutes, the alien ships couldn't talk to each other at all. When communications were restored, Vexthal found that his fleet was even more scattered and disorganized. "This is impossible," he said. "How can one species control so many different systems at once?" Lisa looked up from her tactical station. "Captain, should I tell him?" Morrison nodded. "Open a channel." "War Commander," Lisa's voice came over the communication system. "You want to know how we're doing this? It's simple. We're not controlling these systems. We're asking them to help us." "What does that mean?" "Every automated system in this system was built by humans or by species who learned from humans. They're all programmed to respond to human emergency protocols. When Captain Morrison declared a system-wide emergency, every automated device in the area immediately placed itself under our command." Vexthal was stunned. "You mean all of this was already here, waiting for you?" "Not waiting for us specifically," Morrison replied. "Waiting for any human who might need help. That's how we build things, War Commander. We build them to work together." The fourth demonstration was the most impressive yet. Amy activated the emergency broadcast system that connected every automated device in the star system. Suddenly, the scattered alien ships found themselves surrounded by a coordinated network of thousands of individual devices, all working together. With perfect timing, mining drones began moving in formation flights. Navigation beacons started broadcasting in harmony to create interference patterns. Automated refineries released precisely timed bursts of gas and particles to create visual obstacles. "It's like the entire system is alive," Kylter whispered. "It is alive," Morrison replied. "It's alive with human ingenuity, human cooperation. and human planning. Every system, every device, every piece of equipment was designed to work with every other piece. That's what makes us different, War Commander. Vexthul watched his mighty fleet being herded like animals by invisible forces. His ships were powerful, his weapons were devastating, his warriors were brave. But none of that mattered when the environment itself was working against them. "What do you want from us?" he asked finally. Morrison's answer was simple. "I want you to understand something that your previous 17 conquests never had a chance to teach you." "What's that?" "Some problems can't be solved by applying more force." War Commander Vexthul tried to rally his scattered fleet. "All ships, ignore the obstacles and focus fire on the human vessel. If we destroy their command ship, this chaos will stop." But even that simple order proved impossible to execute. Every time an alien ship tried to get a clear shot at the new horizon, new obstacles appeared in their firing path. Debris clouds formed at exactly the right moments. Electromagnetic interference disrupted their targeting systems. Even the asteroids themselves seemed to move to block their shots. Sub-Commander Kylter was starting to understand the true scope of human planning. "War Commander, they're not just reacting to our moves, they're anticipating them." "How is that possible?" "Because they've been studying us since the moment we arrived," Morrison's voice answered over the communication channel. "Amy, show them what we've learned." Amy Walsh had been recording and analyzing every alien communication, every movement pattern, every tactical decision since the first contact. Now she played back a summary of their findings. "Your ships always attack in the same formation," Lisa Barnes added. "Your captains always make the same decisions under pressure. Your entire tactical doctrine is based on overwhelming force applied in predictable patterns." On his command ship, Vexthul felt a chill of understanding. "You've been studying our methods while we were chasing you." "Not just studying them," Morrison replied. "We've been teaching our network to predict them. Every automated system in this star system now knows how you think, how you fight, and how you'll respond to different situations." To prove the point, Amy activated a new sequence. The moment an alien cruiser began to turn toward the new horizon, mining drones moved to block its path. When another ship tried to fire, electromagnetic interference materialized exactly where its targeting beam would pass. When a third ship attempted to ram through a debris field, the debris rearranged itself to create an even denser barrier. "It's like they're reading our minds," one of the alien captains reported. "We're not reading your minds," Tony Rivera said over the communication channel. "We're reading your culture. Everything you do follows patterns that we've learned to recognize." The alien fleet found itself trapped in what felt like a living maze. Every escape route led to new obstacles. Every tactical decision resulted in countermeasures that seemed to appear from nowhere. The space around them had become an intelligent opponent that learned from their every move. Vexthul made a desperate decision. "All ships, full power to weapons. We'll destroy everything in this area." "War Commander, no," Kylter protested. "If we fire randomly, we'll destroy our own ships. Better than being humiliated by these primitives." But even this extreme measure was anticipated. The moment the alien ships began charging their weapons for a massive barrage, the human network responded. Navigation beacons throughout the area began broadcasting emergency signals that were designed to trigger automatic safety protocols in all nearby ships. The alien weapon systems suddenly shut down as their own. Safety programs decided that firing in the current environment would be too dangerous. "Our weapons won't fire," an alien captain reported. "The safety systems are overriding our commands." Morrison's laughter came over the communication channel. "Those safety systems were installed by the same engineers who built our network protocols. Did you really think we wouldn't include safeguards against exactly this kind of situation?" Vexthal was beginning to realize the depth of his mistake. The humans hadn't just turned the star system into a weapon. They had turned it into a teacher, one that was showing his fleet exactly how outmatched they were. "What kind of species are you?" he asked. "We're the kind that's been fighting wars for thousands of years," Morrison replied. "We've learned that the best victory is the one where nobody has to die. But you're winning." "Am I? Tell me, War Commander, how many of your ships have been destroyed?" Vexthal checked his tactical display. The answer surprised him. "None." "How? Many of your crew members have been killed?" "None." "Then what exactly am I winning?" The question hung in the space between them. Vexthal's fleet was disabled, scattered, and completely outmaneuvered, but they were all still alive. Their ships were damaged, but not destroyed. They had been defeated without actually being harmed. "I don't understand," Vexthal said. "That's the point," Morrison replied. "You've spent so long thinking about how to destroy your enemies that you never learned how to defeat them without destroying them." Lisa Barnes took over the communication. "War Commander, in the past hour, we've demonstrated complete control over your fleet. We've shown that we can predict your every move, counter your every strategy, and neutralize your every advantage. But we haven't killed anyone." "Why not?" Kylter asked. "Because dead enemies can't learn from their mistakes," Morrison answered. "And we'd rather have educated neighbors than dead ones." The alien fleet hung in space, completely outmaneuvered, but still intact. Around them, the human network continued its complex dance of coordination, a visible demonstration of what cooperative intelligence could accomplish. "This is what humans call a teaching moment," Amy Walsh added. "We could destroy your fleet right now. But instead, we're going to show you something that none of your previous 17 conquests could show you." "What's that?" Vexthal asked. "We're going to show you what it looks like when someone fights back intelligently instead of just fighting back hard." The next demonstration was the most impressive yet. The human network began to reorganize itself in real time, showing the aliens exactly how adaptable human systems could be. Mining drones formed new patterns. Communication relays reconfigured their networks. Navigation beacons created new guidance systems. Within minutes, the chaotic battlefield had transformed into an orderly space, where every human system worked in perfect harmony with every other system. "You see," Morrison said, "when you attacked. U.S., you thought you were fighting one ship with one captain, making one set of decisions. But you weren't. You were fighting thousands of interconnected systems, all designed to support each other and adapt to new situations." "That's impossible," Vexthal protested. "No species can coordinate that many different systems at once." "You're right," Morrison agreed. "No species can do it by giving orders from the top down. But any species can do it if they design their systems to cooperate from the bottom up." Kylter was studying the tactical display with growing understanding. "War Commander, look at how their systems interact. They don't wait for orders. They respond to situations automatically, but in ways that support the overall mission. Each system is smart enough to make its own decisions," Lisa explained, "but designed to make decisions that help the whole network. That's how humans build things, War Commander. We don't just make them strong. We make them smart." The final demonstration was simple, but devastating to alien confidence. Amy sent a single command to the network, and within seconds, every human system in the star system responded. The scattered alien fleet found itself gently but firmly guided into a tight formation in empty space, surrounded by a perfect sphere of cooperating human technologies. They hadn't been captured. They hadn't been destroyed. They had been organized. "Impossible," Vexthal whispered. "What's impossible?" Morrison asked. "That we moved your ships without your permission? That we did it without damaging them? Or that we did it so easily?" All of it. War Commander, let me ask you a question. In your 17 previous conquests, did any of your enemies ever ask you to leave peacefully? Some did. And what did? You do? We destroyed them for their weakness. So you never learned what they could do when they weren't weak. Vexthal felt something he had never experienced before in battle. Genuine fear. Not fear of death or defeat, but fear of the unknown. He was facing something completely outside his experience. What are you? He asked. Morrison's answer was quiet, but clear. We're what you get when a species learns to fight smarter, instead of fighting harder. Around the alien fleet, thousands of human systems continued their perfect coordination. A living demonstration of what cooperative intelligence could accomplish. Now, Morrison said, let me ask you the same question you asked me at the beginning of this encounter. Why don't you flee? War Commander Vexthal stared at the tactical display showing his fleet surrounded by thousands of coordinated human systems. The question hung in the air like a challenge. Why don't you flee? For the first time in his military career, Vexthal didn't have an answer. Sub-Commander Kylter spoke quietly. War Commander, we should consider retreat. Retreat? Vexthal's voice was hollow. The Zephyrian Empire has never retreated. The Zephyrian Empire has never faced anything like this. Kylter replied. On the New Horizons bridge, Captain Morrison was watching the alien communications with interest. Amy Walsh was translating their conversations in real time. They're arguing about whether to surrender or try to fight their way out, Amy reported. What do you think they'll choose? Tony Rivera asked. Lisa Barnes was studying the alien formation. They're warriors. They'll try to fight. But not the way they've been fighting. They're learning. Morrison nodded. That's what we want. We want them to learn. Captain, Pete Collins asked from his navigation station. What happens if they do try to fight their way out? Morrison smiled. Then we teach them why humans don't need to chase their enemies twice. Aboard the alien command ship, Vexthal made his decision. All ships prepare for breakout maneuver Theta 7. We'll punch through their network and escape to open space. War Commander, Kylter warned. They've anticipated everything else we've tried. This is different. Theta 7 is a desperation move. No rational commander would expect it. The alien fleet suddenly exploded into motion. Instead of trying to fight the human network, they attempted to ram straight through it at maximum speed. It was a dangerous move that could destroy their own ships, but it might catch the humans by surprise. Morrison watched the alien maneuver with approval. Good, they're adapting. Amy, let them through. Sir? Amy looked confused. You heard me. Pull back the network and let them escape. Amy sent commands throughout the human network. The thousands of coordinated systems suddenly moved aside, creating a clear path for the alien fleet to escape. The Zephyrian ships burst through the gap and raced toward the edge of the star system. For a moment, it looked like they had succeeded. We're clear, one of the alien captains reported. The human network is behind us. But Vexthal wasn't celebrating. Something about the escape felt wrong. It had been too easy. Sub-Commander, run a full sensor sweep of our escape route. The results confirmed his fears. War Commander, there are more human devices ahead of us. Hundreds of them. Morrison's voice came over the communication channel. You asked why I don't chase you twice, War Commander. This is why. The space ahead of the alien fleet suddenly came alive with human technology. Navigation beacons, communication relays, mining drones, and automated platforms emerged from hiding places throughout the outer system. How? Vexthal demanded. How did you get so many devices out here? We didn't get them out here, Morrison replied. They were already here. This entire star system has been surveyed, mapped, and equipped with human technology for mining and Research operations. We didn't bring a fleet to fight you. We brought a single ship to a system that was already ours. Lisa Barnes took over the communication. War Commander, do you understand what just happened? You didn't escape from our trap. We let you move from the first trap to the second trap. The alien fleet found itself in the same situation as before, but worse. The outer system had even more automated devices than the inner system. And now the aliens were farther from any possible help. This is the lesson, War Commander, Morrison said. Humans don't chase their enemies because we don't need to. We create situations where our enemies come to us. Keltar was studying the new tactical situation. War Commander, we're completely surrounded again. But this time, we're in deep space, with no cover and no chance of rescue. Surrender, Vexthal said quietly. Sir? I said surrender. Open a channel to the human ship. Morrison accepted the communication. Yes, War Commander? We surrender. But I have questions. I'm listening. Why? Did you let us try to escape? You could have kept us trapped in the inner system. Morrison was quiet for a moment. Because I wanted you to understand something. This wasn't about defeating your fleet. This was about showing you a different way to think about problems. I don't understand. War Commander, you've conquered 17 species using the same strategy every time. Overwhelming force, direct assault, total domination. It worked because all 17 species tried to fight you the same way you were fighting them. And you didn't. We fought you the way humans fight. We turned your strengths into weaknesses. We made the battlefield itself our ally. We anticipated your moves and prepared for them in advance. And most importantly, we made sure that winning the battle didn't require destroying the enemy. Vexthal was beginning to understand. You're saying we never faced real opposition before. I'm saying you never faced intelligent opposition before. There's a difference between brave and smart, War Commander. Your previous enemies were brave, but bravery without intelligence is just another way to lose. Amy Walsh added her own observation. War Commander, we've been monitoring your communications throughout this encounter. Your tactical discussions, your strategic planning, even your casual conversations. Do you know what we learned? What? You're not stupid. You're just inexperienced. You've never had to fight an enemy that could think ahead of you. Tony Rivera joined the conversation. War Commander, your ships are well designed, your weapons are powerful, and your crew is disciplined. Under normal circumstances, you'd be a formidable opponent. But these aren't normal circumstances. These are human circumstances, Morrison replied. And in human circumstances, the side that can adapt fastest usually wins. Lisa Barnes pulled up a tactical display showing the entire encounter from beginning to end. War Commander, look at this recording. At what point did you realize you were in trouble? Vexthal studied the display. When your network activated. When we realized the entire system was working against us. But we told you from the beginning that you were making a mistake. We warned you to leave peacefully. Why didn't you listen? Because no weak species had ever been able to back up such a threat. So you assumed we were weak because we offered peace instead of war. Vexthal felt something he rarely experienced. Shame. Yes. Morrison's voice became gentler. War Commander, let me tell you something about humans. We offer peace first, not because we're weak, but because we're strong. We know what war costs. And we'd rather avoid paying that price if possible. But when peace isn't possible, we fight. But we fight to end the conflict, not to prove our strength. Keltar had been listening to the conversation with growing interest. Captain Morrison, may I ask you a question? Go ahead. What happens now? Do you destroy our fleet? Take us prisoner? Demand tribute? Morrison was quiet for a long moment. Sub-Commander, what do you think should happen? The question surprised Kylter. I don't know. We attacked you. We threatened you. We refused your offer of peace. Yes, you did. But you also learned. You adapted. You started thinking instead of just fighting. That's worth something. Amy Walsh brought up the communication records. War Commander. We have recordings of everything that happened here. Your attack, our response, the entire tactical exchange. What do you think we should do with those recordings? Vexthal understood the implication. You could send them to our enemies. Show them how to defeat us. We could. Or we could send them to your allies. Show them how humans prefer to handle conflicts. What's the difference? Morrison answered. The difference is whether you learn from this experience or repeat it. The conversation was interrupted by an alert from the New Horizon sensors. Tony Rivera checked his readings and reported, Captain, we're getting energy signatures from the edge of the system. Multiple ships approaching. Lisa Barnes identified them quickly. Zephyrian reinforcements. 3 more battle groups heading this way at maximum speed. Vexthal felt a moment of hope, followed immediately by fear. My reinforcements. But Captain Morrison, if they arrive while we're surrendered, they'll assume we're holding you prisoner and attack immediately, Morrison finished. And then we'll have to defend ourselves against an even larger fleet. Can your network handle 3 battle groups? Morrison smiled. War Commander, this is one-star system. Humans have been building networks like this for hundreds of years. In thousands of systems. What do you think? The answer was clear from Morrison's confidence. The approaching reinforcements wouldn't change the tactical situation. They would just provide more students for the same lesson. Captain Morrison, Vexthal said formally, I request permission to contact my reinforcements and order them too. Withdraw. Permission granted. But War Commander? Yes? When you talk to them, I want you to explain something. Tell them that they've just learned why humans don't chase their enemies twice. Vexthal opened a channel to the approaching fleet. Battle Group Commander Vexner, this is War Commander Vexthal. You are ordered to halt your advance and maintain position at the system's edge. War Commander, are you under duress? We're detecting massive human activity throughout the system. I am not under duress. I am under instruction. These humans have just taught us something that our empire needs to learn. What's that? Vexthal Lu.